And here we are. We are live. That's right. It's Saturday, 5 p.m. somewhere right here. And we got a question right out of the gate. CLS Create is kicking things off here. What does being a drummer have to do with playing guitar? It's a great question because, as some of you guys know, that I play the drums. All my training was as a drummer, and yet here you are looking at me with questions about playing the guitar. So yeah, I played drums for a million years, and here's what playing the drums and taking lessons on the drums did for me. Right hand, okay? It got my right hand going. It did not help at all with my left hand. So I was starting the same place as all you guys. Chords were tough, all that stuff was tough, but my right hand had a sense of rhythm. So being a rhythm guitar player, felt very natural. The idea of keeping this steady thing going, no matter what was going on with the left hand, felt really natural. So that was a huge advantage. So that's one thing. All my training, we got a fly on the loose. I've had a fly here in the music shop for 3 days now. Same fly, as far as I know. I didn't do a fingerprint or DNA thing on the fly, but I think it's the same fly for 3 days. What are you going to do? I opened the door for the fly to go out. The fly is perfectly happy. Okay, so being a drummer helped me with my right hand, which is pretty huge. Did not help me with finger picking directly, but the idea, number one, the concept of keeping a steady beat in some fashion, a repetitive rhythm in some fashion. That made a lot of sense, and I took to that pretty quickly as a beginner guitar player. But here's the other thing that made a lot of sense, but it took me a lot of work. Finger picking where, hear that? My thumb is alternating between 6 and 4. I'm on a G chord basically right here. Hear that? Okay, I'm picking out a melody with my first two fingers that you could say a melody that's independent of those thumb strokes. Now, it's not really independent in the sense that it's, all is one. Who said that? Everybody says that. But you get what I'm saying. There's a melody coming out with my fingertips, but my thumb is keeping a beat. Okay. So what does that possibly have to do with being a drummer? Remember, you see people play the drum set, and some of you may be drum set players, where there's one thing going on, ding, 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 but the other hand is doing something that looks independent of what the first hand is doing. So when I became aware of the finger picking style that I associate with Mississippi John Hurt, that made sense to me. And I knew, I was 99% sure that if I stuck with it, I would get it. My thumb would be able to keep a beat while my index and middle, or possibly my ring finger, could make a melody. Yeah, so that's how being a drummer directly or indirectly helped me make progress on the guitar. But, like you guys, like any non-drummers out there, I still had a lot to learn. I did not take lessons on the guitar, which means most things were completely baffling to me. I won't even get into the list of things that made no sense, because I didn't ask anybody, hey, what's that thing you're doing? Or what's that thing? Or, yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so CLS Create, that gives you a little perspective. By the way, I got your email, as you know, and you gave me some great suggestions that I'm going to follow up on. So I appreciate all feedback from all of you guys. But CLS Create took some time and sent me a very thoughtful email with some great tips, and yeah, excellent. I really appreciate that. Okay, harmonica and guitar progress. You mentioned that you might have some questions. So let's get those questions in. Don't forget to put those question marks before the question. All week long, I've been setting up my agenda, not agenda, but my a bunch of topics that I want to talk about today. So, and we'll get into that in a moment. But I don't know if any of you saw my posts on social media, or was it in my email or both? Anyways, I've been not just promoting this live stream, but promoting some of the topics I plan on talking about during this live stream. And that was one of the suggestions actually from CLS Create. So I have a big list, man. We're not going to get to all of it, but I have a big list, which I can't wait to get to. Some of the things that I want to talk about with you guys are follow-ups from last live stream regarding some of your questions, or they were sort of inspired by your questions last week. So can't wait to get into those too. A few hellos out there. I want to say hi to John, hi to Candy. I want to say hi to Scott. I want to say hi to Joe. And who else do I see around here? See a lot of familiar names. Okay. Harmonica and Guitar Progress is saying, okay. You are, okay, give me a second here to okay, you got two good questions. So let's start with the first one. That'd be logical. What you're talking about now, harmonic and guitar progress, I'm going to try to sum up your question. The question is regarding a strategy to getting better, or to learning skills or to learning songs. Listening to the music and imitating what you hear. Listen in. Okay, I'm gonna answer it the way I want to. Let's see. If you're learning something by ear, it's great. That's terrific. It can also be super frustrating, but okay. You know, what isn't frustrating, right? If you're learning something by ear, the number one challenge is to play the recording, whether it's something on your phone or on an actual stereo system. Does anyone say that anymore? Stereo system. It can't be too loud, because you have to find the balance between hearing your own instrument and hearing the recording. So number one, you got to find that balance. If the music is too loud, you're not going to be able to hear yourself. You're not going to be able to take educated guesses as to what's going on. And if it's too soft, then as soon as you start playing your guitar, you're going to drown out the music. So you got to find that balance. Okay. And I highly encourage all of you to make part of your practice time, part of it, devote part of it to trying to figure out a song by ear, or it could be just a cool little riff. I mean, I'm not talking necessarily about a whole song, it's whatever, you know, a modest little guitar intro or something. That's a great way for you to spend part of your practice time. You know, I'm going to combine all your ideas into one. You're talking about listening first and then imitating what you hear. I think you mean turning the music off, right? Listening, turning it off, pausing it, and then playing it and then going back and listening again. That's perfectly reasonable. Playing along with the recording as it's going, that's reasonable. It's challenging no matter what. I think it's gonna probably depend on the song a little bit. I think it's great to play along with the actual recording, because then you're not concerned about your memory of the song. It's right there. As soon as you turn the recording off, then you're relying on your memory. Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna waffle on that, because it is good to hear a riff, pause the music, and try to imitate that riff. No, you're asking it. You bring up a great topic, and I don't have a single answer for that topic beyond what I've already said, you know. But good luck to you. And if you get super frustrated, then go back to something where you're not relying on your ear. If you got an hour of practice time, sure, spend half an hour trying to figure out something by ear, great. But then no matter how successful you are or unsuccessful, if you have a whole hour to practice, spend half the hour on something where you don't have to rely purely on your ear, you know. You want to keep all your skills advancing. Scott Rhodes. Yes. Scott Rhodes, the answer to the question is yes. Scott asks, along with the other drum question, to follow up on the other drum question, does my drum experience make me more prone to percussive guitar playing, like palm muting? Totally, totally. I don't remember having to learn like a chopping sound. I just kind of did it. To give you an example. So yeah, that, and I'm thinking of the backbeat, the snare drum, boom, pow, boom, pow, boom, pow, pow. Now, being able to do that with no training does not make me particularly remarkable. But that is an example of percussive guitar playing. That's the kind of thing, that chopping kind of sound. Everyone, sooner or later, they learn how to do that, sometimes by accident. So that by itself is not a remarkable thing. But it sure is fun to do once you get the hang of it, So yeah, percussive stuff. Yeah. Any one instrument does help you with your next instrument. It certainly influences your perspective. So yeah. A to Z, me. Hello. Sorry you broke a string. It's too late for me to give you this advice directly, A to Z, me. But everyone out there, whenever you have a moment, go ahead and buy yourself 2 sets of strings. In fact, you can buy strings in a 3-pack a lot of the time, where you get 3 sets of strings for a discounted price. Yeah, having no strings sitting around is a bad idea, and having just 1 set, yeah, get yourself 2 sets of strings. You're going to use them sooner or later, anyways. Live to Fly. Hey, Live to Fly. Thank you, Live to Fly. You should be receiving your book. That looks like this. You should be receiving it very soon. I know it's heading way out to California, so if you haven't already got it, you should be getting it really soon. Charlie Beagle. I'm reading your question. Charlie Beagle asks, what do you think of this busking method, where you basically keep your pinky and ring fingers anchored and you're playing a 4-fingered G chord? Oh, yeah. I never heard it referred to as a busking method, but definitely, yeah. There's no other name for this chord, so I call it the 4-fingered G chord. I have heard people refer to the 4-fingered G chord as the bluegrass G, which is fine with me. And I've heard some people call it the Beatles G because the Beatles use that in more than one of their songs. So I think there are, number one, there's famous songs that require you to do G that way. And I Wish You Were Here is an example of a tune where that whole cool intro, that requires you to keep those 2 fingers down the whole time as your index and middle jump around. So the 4-fingered G is useful in lots of situations. Sometimes you have no option. You have to play the 4-fingered G because that's how the song was written. Other times you might choose to do the 4-fingered G. The 4-fingered G opens up the possibility of switching to, we could call it the 4-finger C. It's a C add 9 chord. Everyone see that okay? My index and middle drop down from the 5th and 6th strings to the 4th and 5th strings, same frets. When you drop down to do this 4-finger C chord, you do not include the fat open 6th E string. Don't do it. It's too boomy and weird. The proper name of that would be a C add 9 chord. And that is what I typically call it, but now I'm in the mood to call it a 4-finger C. Anyways, if you're doing the 4-finger G anyways, that 4-finger C is waiting right there for you. If any of you out there are struggling with the typical regular C chord, this 4-finger C is not a substitute necessarily. It's more just a necessary way of playing a C chord for some songs. Every once in a while, someone out there on the internet has seen my video called the DCG trick and says, you're teaching people how to cheat and not play a real C, blah, blah, blah. That's not the case, but I feel obligated now to every once in a while say that as a disclaimer. So that 4-finger G is great, and have fun with it. Have fun with it. Candy, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Candy, first super chat of the day. Bear with me, folks. I had to close out of a little window that popped up. Candy says, can you run through a scale in the middle of the neck? Definitely, it's a great idea. Let me think for a moment here. I'm going to do a major scale. Let's go with this one. This is going to be a nice workout for your fretting hand because we're going to use all 4 of your fingers. This is the type of thing that I will put in the description of the video when I do the time stamping, okay? So those of you who are driving, floating above the earth in a hot air balloon, don't worry about writing this down. Those of you who have a pen and pencil handy, okay. I'm choosing an A major scale to answer Candy's. Candy, I call you Cindy, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm looking right at your name here. So you ready? I'm going to be in 4th position. Okay, 4th position means index finger is going to play the 4th fret on any string. Middle finger is going to play the 5th fret on any string when it's needed. You get the idea? Ring finger plays all the 6s. Pinky plays all the 7s. So I am not going to tell you which finger to use verbally right now because I just did. 4th position, index, middle, ring, pinky, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you want to be a good guitar player, use all 4 of your fingers the way I'm about to do it right here. Okay? Okay. 6th string, 5, 7. 5th string, 4, 5, 7. 4th string, 4, 6, 7. We've now covered 1 octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay? I'm going to start on that pinky note. My pinky is currently on the 4th string, also known as the D string. 4th string, 7th fret. Okay? I'm starting there because that is the note A. It's 1 octave higher than the A we started on back on the 6th string, 5th fret. Okay, so my pinky is on the 4th string, 7th fret, the note A, going on to the 3rd string. 4, 6, 7. Okay, you still with me? 2nd string, 5, 7. We're almost there. 1st skinny E string, 4, 5. I'm going to pause right there. I have now made it yet another octave to the next A. Okay? It's always good to make a note of where those root notes are located, right? By definition, the root note is the note that names the chord. We have our names the scale or the chord or whatever, you know, the root note. So we start on 1A on the 6th string. We found another A on the 4th string, and yet another A, another root note on the 1st string. Now, if I were to keep going higher, because in theory, scales go to infinity, right? As far as the human ear can hear. If I were going to keep going, the next note would be 7 on the 1st skinny string. And I encourage you to play that note because you don't have to stop a scale just because you've reached a root note. You can go on and include another note. In this case, it's another opportunity to use your pinky, you know? Okay, now I'm going to play it and not talk. You always want to go backwards. Okay, pretty sure I got that right. We'll find out. Okay, Candy, I like your attitude, which is let's learn a scale and let's play a scale. I chose a major scale because major scales are great. Major scales help explain a lot of things. Major scales are both, you know, a physical exercise, but you can't go wrong spending time with major scales. So yeah. You've heard me say before, you guys, get yourself a scale book, any scale book, anything. Yeah, I mean, you can go on Amazon and see what is top rated or something. You will never regret spending time doing scales. If you love scales and you can do them for an hour without stopping because you've got a scale book with all these different flavors of scales, blues scales, major scales. If you can do that for an hour, and that because that's your patience level, that's where your head is at, fantastic. If a little goes, if a little goes a long way, if after 5 or 10 minutes with a scale or a couple of scales, you're ready to move on, it's great. It's great. You'll never regret it. Okay, A to Z me. Why was that chord called an add 9 chord? Excellent question. Okay, so I assume you're picking up on that C add 9. Okay, the very short answer to your question is I added the 9th note of a C major scale. C add 9. I added the 9th note of the scale. Let's get a little deeper. What did I truly add? It's all about the second string, the B string, 3rd fret. That's the note D. So a C chord with an added D note. Let's get the terms totally clear in everyone's heads. The word chord means a group of notes, 3 or more different notes at the same time. That's a chord, right? Right. Okay. A note is a single note. Okay. Just you'd be surprised at the terminology that I sometimes have to clarify, and I'm happy to do it, but I'm choosing to clarify in advance right now, a pre-clarification. Okay. So C add 9. Again, that D, it's what my ring finger is touching on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. That note D is the 9th note of a C major scale. Now, some of you are like, got it, I'm good. Others might be like, wait a minute, C, D, it's the 2nd note of the scale. What are you talking about? It's not the 9th note. You are right and wrong. Remember I said a minute ago, scales extend forever and ever in either direction. Just like, remember what they call that, a line, right? In math, a line is a line segment, but a line goes on to infinity, right? Or how we describe it. Okay. So a D note is definitely the 2nd note of a C scale. And it's also the 9th note. If you keep extending it, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. It's the 9th note. So why not call it the 2nd note? Let me tell you, you will see just random jokers who post songs on the internet, and I don't know, Ultimate Guitar or just some random person. You will see they'll call a chord C add 2. Even if you might or I might understand what they're getting at, that's not the right description of it. Now this is kind of academic, okay? But hey, you know what? What's wrong with academics? But this, I'll tell you why they call it that. Okay. The time when you would call D the 2nd note of this scale, there is a time when you'd refer to D as the 2nd note. A C suspended 2. A C suspended 2 chord. That's a real chord. And the reason why we say C suspended 2 when it's appropriate, and we say C add 9 when that's appropriate, I'm going to tell you that reason right now. But in both cases, we are including the note D. Okay, so here's the difference. In C add 9, we're simply adding the D to the mix. Okay, we've got red, white, and blue, and we're adding in some yellow. End of story. Okay. With C suspended 2, let's use the red, white, and blue as an analogy. C suspended 2, we have the red, white, and blue. We take away one of those colors, and we put in the yellow, which represents the D. You with me here? A C suspended 2, by definition, you're taking away a certain note, and you're putting the D in its place. And I'll leave it at that for right now. But that's the significance. And I'm happy to talk about that more because suspended chords show up lots, and add 9 chords show up a lot too. So that's I hope that addresses your question, A to Z me. Hey, Walter, welcome. You're still at work. I like your job, man. If you have the kind of job where you can tune into jokers like me, and yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Welcome. Beginner guitar lessons. Hello, welcome. Beginner guitar lessons is our moderator, and with my thanks. Okay, so folks, I'm going to jump into my agenda for today because I have a bunch of things to show you, and I can't wait. Okay, so let's start off with a little challenge that I'm in the process of making this into a proper YouTube video. So you guys are kind of my guinea pigs, or I should say, preparing for this live stream with you guys is directly helping me put together my thoughts for this video that I haven't put out a YouTube video for a long time, and you guys inspired me here. So D chords up the neck using different formations. Okay, meaning we're going to stay on the 3 skinny strings. I'm going to show you how to play D major chords, D major triads, if you want to use that word triad. If it makes you feel cool, you can call it triad. D major triads up the neck with different formations. But we're going to have some musical fun with it. Okay, and I'll run you through the physical stuff first, and then I'll tell you how we're going to apply it to some rock and roll. Okay, so I bet most of you, what do we got? We got 36 people. Nice. Okay, so I bet we got 30 plus people who can play a D chord. Okay, so grab your D chord. We're only going to strum the 3 skinny strings. I know that usually that's not how you approach a D chord. You can definitely include the 4th D string. You can even include the 5th A string. But okay, that's our first D. Okay, next D. Again, the 3 treble strings, 5, 7, 7. Index finger, 5 on the first string. Pinky, 7 on the second string. Ring finger, 7 on the third string. Do yourself a favor. Make sure you're using index, ring, and pinky. I know someone out there is using their middle finger, and don't stretch up with your middle finger. It's not worth it. Get your ring and pinky there. Middle finger doing nothing. Okay? 5, 7, 7. That is a D chord. It's just a way to get the notes of a D chord higher up the neck. It's a different formation. Okay, I'm going to pause there. What formation, like what is that? Okay, check it out. You don't have to move. You can stay right on that 5, 7, 7. I'm going to glide backwards towards the nut. My hand is going backwards, keeping that same formation, the formation that was 5, 7, 7. Now it's 1, 3, 3. Watch closely. I'm going to go backwards one more. So my index finger is in effect at 0. My ring and pinky are both at the 2nd fret. Okay, so for the record, I've opened skinny first string, pinky 2nd string, 2nd fret, ring finger 3rd string, 2nd fret. What I'm doing right there is almost an A major chord, right? So what's my point? This shape, I'm going to call it the A shape. Even though up here at 5, 7, 7, it does not resemble an A chord. I get that. But we're going to call it the A shape. If it makes you feel any better, you could include your middle finger. We're not going to do it in this exercise, but you could include your middle finger on the 4th string, 7th fret. And there's, I call that 3 in a row. That's what your A chord looks like, except typically we do A with index, middle, and ring. But if it helps you understand the name here, calling this the A formation, then go for it. But no matter what, even if what I just said is complete Greek to you, this 5, 7, 7, we're going to call it the A formation. Okay, but it's a D chord. You with me? The notes you're playing are the 3 necessary notes of a D major triad, a D major chord. The 3 notes, by the way, are D, of course, F sharp, and A. Okay, we're not done yet. The next way of playing D up the neck, 10, 10, 11. The 10, 10, that's your index finger on the 2 skinny strings, 11 on the 3rd string. 10, 10, 11. I know one of you out there is thinking, oh, I'll do the 10 and 10 with 2 separate fingers and then reach over for the 11. Yeah, you could do that, but today's as good a day as any to master this technique of index finger clamping down hard on 2 skinny strings and in this case at the 10th fret, and the middle finger reaching over, arching over to the 3rd string, 11th fret. And that is yet another D major triad. Okay, and then last one, I promise. Some of you are going to have a tricky time with this. It's okay, I have a workaround, but some of you are going to have a tricky time. Okay, it's back to the D formation, 1 octave higher than we were before. 14, 15, 14. Same formation as your traditional D chord, right? Same thing. In fact, you could even, if you want to, go back to that D chord, the old-fashioned regular D chord. Keep that formation, just glide it up until you're at the 14th and 15th fret. Those of you with electric guitars have no problems with this, like whatever, you know. Don't forget 2 dots at the 12th fret. That makes it easier to find 14 and 15, right? Use the 2 dots at the 12th fret as your guide. Okay, so literally we are back at the D formation, 1 octave higher. Okay, now how are you going to enjoy practicing this, and why are we even doing this in the first place? Let's talk about the why first. It's a way to get comfortable playing chords up the neck of the guitar, because what I'm going to have you do is move from, let's call this regular D, to 5, 7, 7, to 10, 10, 11, to that super high one. Okay? And before long, you're going to be that cool person just zipping up and down the neck with the 3 chord formations that you need to play major triads up and down the neck on the 3 skinny strings. Okay, and I have some videos that some of you guys have seen called up the neck chords, up the neck major chords, up the neck minor chords, up the neck 7th chords, and you can find those on my YouTube channel. And some of this is slightly redundant information, or to put it more positively, it's a review. Okay, now here's the moment I've been waiting for. Way back when John Fogerty wrote a great song called Proud Mary. And aside from being a great tune, Proud Mary has one remarkable thing that you might not have known about, or that you might not have had reason to think about. John Fogerty stays on the D chord for 8 long measures, technically 10 measures if you include the intro before the words come in. 8 measures, or in this case, even 10 measures, it's an extraordinarily long time to stay on one chord, in my experience. I don't know any song that stays on one chord for so long. So when I'm talking about, we got the intro. And then he settles into that D chord. By the way, I have a video on Proud Mary on my YouTube channel. You can find that. And he settles into his D chord. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. But I never lost a minute of sleep, thinking about the way things might have been. It's all the D chord. That's all right, man. He's telling a story. He's like, I don't know. It never occurred to me until I saw the whole song written out in a book or something. Wait a minute. All right. Okay, now, you with me? Okay, so it's a D chord. Now we're going to use this to play all those other Ds. Now this is not what he's doing, his recording, but let's get you good at those chords up and down the neck, and let's go. You ready for this? By the way, if you want to sing along, get your voice tuned into your open D string. Left a good job in the city, right? There's your D. If your voice is higher than mine, you can find your D 2nd string, 3rd fret. Left a good job in the city. Okay, right? So, okay, here we go. I'm going to go like this. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. But I never lost a minute of sleep, thinking about the way things might have been. Okay. Hey, if you're going to play a bunch of D chords up the neck, let's do it keeping in mind a famous song that has a bunch of D chords. Okay, why not? Why not? In fact, I could foresee a million videos down the road coming back to Proud Mary and saying, okay, what else can we do with the knowledge that it's a D chord for, let's see, 8 measures at 4 beats per measure, 32 beats of D. And then if you include the 2 measures of D before he starts singing, that's another 8. So that's 40 beats of D. So I could imagine in the future saying, okay, here's another skill, another thing we could do, and using Proud Mary, because you guys know me. Whenever I teach a skill, I like to connect it with something that we've heard before or that you could go and hear on, Spotify or whatever. Okay, so in slow motion, I got my regular D. I'm going to do a down up. And then, hey, speaking of that chopping sound, after that down up, I did a little chop. And it just felt good. Left a good job. Left a good job in the city. So in each one of those chords, down, up, and if you want to, that chopping thing, my hand is coming down. The side of my palm is touching the skinny, or all the strings probably. It's touching the strings right before my pick scrapes across the strings. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night. Get the idea? So I believe that sequence happens 4 times. Before it goes on, now I don't want to leave you hanging because there's something that comes after that when he finally makes the chord change. Don't worry, I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay, so my number 1 goal is frankly to get John Fogerty to notice, that I exist and to be my friend. My number 2 goal is to, no, that's pretty much the goal. I'll see you next week, everybody. No, I'm kidding. My number 2 goal is, hey man, let's get you good at those chords up and down the neck. And because, and I bet some of you can do this on your first try. If you know where all the D's are, well, then you can certainly figure out where the E's are, right? Anything that's D anything, 2 frets higher becomes E. And that goes for all the chords I just played. John Fogerty said, hey man, I want to sing that song in E. I'd be like, John, man, I can do that. I'm going to take everything I just did and move it up 2 frets. How about C? If you know 5, 7, 7 is a D chord, anything that's D, it becomes C if you move it 2 frets backwards that way. So this goes way beyond D chords, my friends. This, what was D turns into its neighboring alphabetical notes, C's and E's, just as an example, okay, to show you, hey, if you know D, then you already know C's and E's. Okay. So, okay, not to leave you hanging, when last we visited good old Proud Mary, we were way up high, till I hitched a ride on the riverboat queen. Okay, so I left off, I was doing that high D up at 14, 15, 14. Oh, before I tell you the next chord, if for whatever reason that 14, 15, 14 high version of A is just not going to happen on your guitar or with your hands or whatever, I'll show you. Watch, I'm going to do this one, the second one, the third one, and then I'm going to go back to the 5, 7, 7, back to the second one. Hey, that works. Ready to hear me sing again? Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. So I'm just heading back this direction, instead of going 1 higher. That's all. Okay. So what's the next chord? Next chord is A. When John Fogerty finally changes chords in Proud Mary, he goes to the A chord. So the A I'm going to suggest, since the whole topic at the moment is up the neck chords, an A chord with a D formation, 9, 10, 9. Your left hand thinks it's just playing another D chord, because it is. It's playing a D formation at 9, 10, 9. That is an A chord. Again, careful to only strum the 3 skinny strings. Just to be 100% clear, everything I've been playing today has been on just the 3 skinny strings. Big wheel, keep on on turning. Now he stays on that A for a little while, not as long as, you know, big wheel, there we go. Big wheel, keep on turning. There's my, I did 4, let's call them down ups. I did 4 down ups. Big wheel, keep on turning. Next chord, B minor. You want to know where there's a really close B minor to where you are right now? You're at 9, 10, 9. 1 finger, 7, 7, 7. Isn't that beautiful? Proud Mary, keep on turning. I did 4 down ups on a 1 finger B minor chord, 7, 7, 7. Now, you know, and I know there's lots of ways of playing B minor, but I'm just keeping with our theme, which is triads on the 3 skinny strings. We finally have a minor triad that shows up, the B minor. So that's how I'm going to suggest doing the B minor. Right on the words, Proud Mary. Proud Mary, keep on turning. Guess what? It's back to rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Okay, and then comes that whole intro again, the ba-da-dum-bum, ba-dum, ba-da. And it's not that I don't want to teach you that part right now, but I have a whole video on Proud Mary that gets into all that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take a breath. Oh, I'm going to enjoy again with the vitamin water. We're kicking it up this week, folks. This is the essential theme. Orange, orange is the flavor. Okay, so here goes. Okay, yes, Candy, I will review those. You got it. Hey, Susan. Okay, folks, so I think you see where I'm coming from. Let's take a skill, up the neck chords, and let's apply it to a song that we all know and love, right? Proud Mary. Okay, Candy, yes. So a quick review. We have 4 different Ds, although just to be clear, that last one, the really high one, is really just a duplicate of the first one. Okay, so our 4 Ds. The regular D, let's call it regular D. I'm going to check my tuning in a minute. Regular D, right? 5, 7, 7. Index finger 5 in the first string. Pinky 7 on the second string. Ring finger 7 on the third string. 5, 7, 7. Remember, I'm nicknaming that the A formation. I get that it doesn't look like an A chord, but you heard my little explanation. That's D chord number 2. D chord number 3. This is the one that feels, in case I didn't mention this clearly before, it feels like the beginnings of an F chord. 10, 10, 11. And I want you to do that. 10, 10 with your index finger, make a little bar. 11 with your middle finger. Okay, and there's a D chord up in 10th position, a D chord with the F formation. That's how you know, that's the proper description of that. And then the final F, because that one's number 3, the 4th one, again, 14, 15, 14. 12 frets higher from where we started. 12 is a magic number for lots of reasons. It's not a coincidence that our guitars have 2 dots at the 12th fret. Okay, so someone, I'm gonna turn this over to you guys. Why is 12 a significant number in music? You know, why is there 2 dots at 12? I mean, yes, we know that the notes at the 12th fret are the same as the notes at 0, right? Eddie, 8, dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. But why is 12 a significant number? While I'm posing that question to you, I'm going to point out that 12 shows up a lot in the society that I grew up in. 12 inches to a foot, 12 eggs in a dozen. You know, 12 shows up. In fact, I did a little research once as to why 13 is considered an unlucky number. And one of the things I came across, I don't know if this is speculation out, is that 13 is as imperfect as 12 is perfect, right? Did Jesus have 12 apostles? Did he? I'm so sorry. My ignorance, there it is, you know. Anyways, the number 12 shows up a lot, right? So 12, you could say 12 is considered a perfect number, right? 12 eggs in a dozen, right? And 13 is like, oh, they ruined something that was perfect. So somehow 13 got described as an unlucky bad number. That's a theory that I read about, or someone's speculation. Shannon, are you? Thank you, Shannon. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have quit while I was ahead. Jesus had 12 disciples, my friends. So hello, music fan 1004. Music fan, did we do Proud Mary in the Proud Mary duets? Did we do that? Why would you lie, right? CLS, great. Well, 12 steps in the chromatic scale. You're so close. You're so close. So the question was, just to recap, why is 12 a significant number in music? And you've just about got the right idea, CLS, great. There are 12 notes in music, right? There's 12. By the time you get to the 13th note, you're simply saying the name of the first note again. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G sharp. I know I'm leaving the camera shot here. By the time you say G sharp, that's the 12th note, and the 13th note is A again. So even though we play notes all up and down the piano and the guitar, and singers can sing all sorts of notes, if we were to name every note, then there'd only be 12 possible names. They just get higher and lower. Oh, now is a great time to add a little bit of extra information that some of you might get a kick out of, because I know I did. I was never comfortable telling people that, this is A and this is another A, so they're the same note. When in reality, my open A string, well, clearly it's not the same as third string, second fret A, right? I mean, two different sounds, and yet you can hear that it's the same, but it's different. It's one octave apart, but it's the same, but it's different, right? So it helped me as a teacher. The notes that have the same name vibrate at twice the speed as each other, or half the speed. So those two A's I played, the higher A, if we were to measure the vibrations, the frequency, and if my guitar is perfectly in tune, you'd see that one A is vibrating. I'm just going to say at 500 vibrations per second, and the other is 250. In fact, when we clip on our tuners, everyone's got those cute little tuners, right? Or you use an app on your phone or whatever. The technology is counting the vibrations, and it's been calibrated so that if you're hitting the right number of vibrations, I mean, if your string is perfectly in tune, it gives you that little green, whatever light or whatever in the middle. If too many vibrations, the meter goes to one side. Too few, it goes to the other side. So it's counting those vibrations. Okay, so when people like me say, "Oh, it's A," and then another A, it's the same thing. We can be a little more scientific about it and say the next A, if everyone's in tune, should be exactly twice the vibrations as the first A. And we could say the same thing. You've heard of A440. Have you ever heard that designation, A440? At some point, someone announced, and we all agreed, that the note A is the sound of 440 hertz, 440 vibrations. Okay, we all agree that's A. Okay, got it. And then everything else stems from there. So I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so the number 12, yeah. Right. So are we good with Proud Mary? Keep your eyes and ears open. In the next few days, I'll be putting out a proper video that will hopefully repeat basically what I just told you guys. And in the meantime, please get to work after our live stream. It's such a satisfying feeling playing chords up and down the neck. And now you can do with Proud Mary, not as slow a song. I like to find slow examples, but sometimes just finding a good example is enough. So, okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Walter, yeah, maybe you're right, Walter. Walter's saying, oh, that's why there's no B sharp. They didn't want to have 13 notes. They want to have only 12 notes. Hey, you know what? That's as good a reason as any. MW, Yes, MW, you're 100% right. The B sharp, it's the same as C. Enharmonic C. I love that word, enharmonic. In case you want to throw a new word into your vocabulary, at your next cocktail party, you can turn to the person next to you and say, B sharp is just enharmonic C. E sharp is enharmonic F. C flat is enharmonic B, right? Or vice versa, okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Now, I am scrolling for a minute because I want to make sure. Hey, Jerry, welcome. Yep, Jerry, you got to do those honeydews. I know you got to do it. That's harmonic and guitar progress is asking why I'm playing why I'm kind of holding the guitar like this. Yeah, you might see I have a little different setup here. So like my background, no drums today. Just the blackness, the void is behind me. The reason why the different setup is because I did a few takes of the video on Proud Mary on the D chord up and down the neck. So I reconfigured my room a little bit. So therefore, I'm sitting a little bit differently, and what I really care about is you guys being able to see my hands, and John Fogarty being my friend. Those are the two things that mean a lot to me. Just kidding. Okay, everybody, I'm looking to see if I have missed any questions. I don't think I've missed any questions. Yeah, A to Z me, I like your comment. And you know what? Somehow it's totally possible. A to Z me says we should have a virtual play along at the end of Saturday streams. I have no doubt the technology is already there. I may not be the person to spearhead that technology, but yeah, that technology, I'm sure it probably has existed for a while where, we could all throw on headphones, or maybe not even with headphones, and play and kind of all hear each other. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we could, imagine, if there's 41 of us, imagine 41, what do they call those little pictures of us? You know what I mean? And imagine being able to click on different people and hear what that person is doing in isolation, right? I'm sure that's doable. Maybe one of you is going on the mandolin, and someone's like, "Ooh, wait, I want to hear what the mandolin player is doing." Oh yeah, that exists, right? You know it. No, we'd all tune up. A to Z me. I'm sure we'd all tune up. Although I will. Okay, here's another horror story. Because telling you guys helps me process it. And if I told you before, then just consider this continuing therapy for me. A band asked me to sit in with them, and I tuned to a real tuner the way people do, but the band had all tuned to themselves, and they were slightly out of tune with the A440 standard, but they're perfectly in tune with each other. Yeah, so I was the guy playing along with him, sounding like garbage, and looking like an idiot. What are you going to do? And I didn't find out till later. Hey, so what was that all about? Oh yeah, I think it was like the bass player. The bass player tuned up everybody to his bass, and they sounded great. Yeah, this is a long time ago. To be fair, it was before before snark tuners took over the world. And you can get these things like for pennies, it feels like. Okay, beginner guitar is doing me a favor by encouraging guys to hit that like button. We got 44 of you out there. I always appreciate those thumbs up. Hey Val, welcome back. Welcome to the chat. MW, did I say hello? Hello, MW. Okay, because I was excited by a question last week and not 100% satisfied with my answer, I have another suggestion here, another song to play for you guys. A little less extensive than Proud Mary. Okay. We talked last week about fun tips for memorizing the fingerboard. And I thought, you know what? I have a couple ideas, a couple of songs that directly relate to the sixth string. And here's what makes this tip fun. You're playing a real song. And that makes everything better, because that is, why most of us are here, to either to recreate our favorite songs or to write our own songs. And some of us actually, really live for the challenges inherent with getting good sounds out of the guitar. Believe me, I can relate to that. But it's still nice to have, a real song come out. Okay, so the two songs, and this is not a coincidence, the two songs that are going to help us memorize notes on the sixth string, both feature the same guitar player. Ooh, I won't tell you who the guitar player is. This guitar player is one of my favorites for sure. The songs are, get ready. Those of you who are ready to like, oh, I'm going to get this answer. The two songs that feature, oh, I'm not even going to tell you the names of the songs. Okay. I'll give you one clue. The songs both came out of the Stax record label. Okay, the first song, this is on the sixth string. Essentially, that's the intro to the song. One more time. Okay, now while you're thinking of the name of the song, while you're thinking potentially of the guitar player who played on that song, in fact, I think he even co-wrote the song. I'm pretty sure he did. You could see how I was doing this steady march up the sixth string. I was following the dots. And that's how he describes it. Open string. A lot of us have a dot on the fretboard on the third fret, and also at the fifth, and also at the seventh and the ninth. He did 0, 3, 5 dots, right? 7, also a dotted fret. And then, okay, 10 does not have a dot. 10, back to 7. Second song. The guitar player intentionally, he needed another introduction for a tune, so he reversed it. Okay, here's the next song. 2, 3, 4. And then, okay, so two songs, same guitar player. I'm mostly sure they both came from the Stax record label. Who are we talking about? What's going on? Okay, what do we got here? I got to look in the chat a little bit. Okay, Shannon, ding, ding, ding. Shannon knows those riffs. The riffs are from Steve Cropper. Actually, the riffs might have been horn riffs ultimately. He might have doubled them on the guitar, but I believe in both cases, Steve Cropper, the riffs were his idea, and he probably doubled them on electric guitar. Live to Fly, you're in the ballpark. Cat Black, I know what you mean. Angus Young, I know, because it sounds like I'm sure there is an AC/DC song that it's so close. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. But we're going to focus on Stax records. Steve Cropper went to college to be an engineering student. I don't know if he finished. It's none of my business. But I was always struck by the fact that he had an engineering kind of mind. It just strikes me that, the way he plays guitar and the way he, reverse that riff. I mean, I want to believe, that's how an engineer thinks. I can see that. And his playing style in general, I could see why someone like that would gravitate towards engineering. There's time to pick a major in college. Okay, so we have what's the name of the song? Someone help me. Because one is Knock on Wood and one's In the Midnight Hour. Okay, so the first one is Knock on Wood. I believe made famous by the singer Eddie Floyd. Knock on Wood. I mean, a lot of people have done it, but I think Eddie Floyd was the first one. Okay, sorry, I should have done a little more homework. Okay. So I was telling you the numbers. Let's focus on the names, because the whole point of this is learning the names on the sixth string. So we have open E, right? Then G at 3, A at 5. Some of you know this already. Great. Then you're just getting a cool riff of it. Those of you who don't know this, or maybe not 100% confident, now's the time. So E, G3, A5, B7, D10. That's D as in dog. Back to 7B. Okay? And I'm saying the number and the letter because, hey, that's as good a way to memorize it as anything. Just start associating G3, G3, 3G, G3, A5, B7, D10. Because remember, if you're truly confident that B is 7, then you know C is 8. It has to be. Remember how B and C are neighbors, right? So, being grounded or being comfortable with a few of the names up and down the neck, it unlocks the whole thing, Okay, so one last time. Knock on wood, open E, G3, A5, B7, D10, back to B7. Without talking, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the intro riff to Knock on Wood. Okay, reverse it for In the Midnight Hour, made famous by Wilson Pickett, right? Okay, so D10, B7, A5, G3. Okay, and then it gets, actually you should know this, that the heart of the verse of In the Midnight Hour is E major to A major. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour when my love comes tumbling down. See that E and A? I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour when there's no one else around. Now, some of you can almost feel the third chord. What goes with E and A? B7. Gonna take you, girl, and hold you. It might go on for take you, girl, and hold you. I think it's B7 to A. B7 again, A, in the midnight hour. So I think that sequence is B7A, B7A. You can double check me. I think I did a video on In the Midnight Hour. Somebody watch it. Let me know. I think that's it. Anyways, there's Midnight Hour. And then there's a cool little vamp. E, A, and B7 are family, right? Lots of songs are E, A, and B7. Someone, it might have been Steve Cropper, thought, yeah, but after do all the things I told you in the midnight hour. Yeah, we're going to go back to the EA. Okay. And then out of nowhere, a D. D going to B7. Cool. Did not see that coming, right? Do all the things I told you in the midnight hour. Oh, yes, I will. And then here it comes. Here's the D. Bum, bum, bum. B7. And the song begins again. Okay. I was talking about the 6th string, but Stax Records, man. Ooh, somebody get me into the Stax Museum. I can't wait to head down to Memphis someday and go to the Stax Museum. I would love that. I would love that. Stax Records. Oh, I can't get enough. Okay, so that's my, again, take a skill, in this case, the skill of memorizing the notes on the fat 6th string, and let's have some fun while we're doing it, so there you go. A lot of E's, G's, A's, B's, and D's. Almost all of them, the odd numbers, certainly 3, 5, and 7, have those dots. And so at some point I saw Steve Cropper giving an interview, and he said, oh yeah, I followed the dots on one song, so I thought I just reversed the dots, for the other song. And there you go. And the rest is history. Okay, so memorizing the names on the strings. Susan, Eddie Floyd, yeah, 1968. Sounds great. Sounds great. Okay. So scrolling here. All right. Live to Fly, thanks for sticking around. And we'll see you again. Live to Fly. A to Z Me. It's definitely B7A, so that was right. But was that the timing? I take you, girl, and hold you, like that. And then you repeat it. Do all the things I told you in the midnight hour. Then back. Hopefully, it's in there. It's in there. For the record, I don't think Steve Cropper was banging out that E and that A. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I call the campfire version, right? Acoustic guitar, campfire. That's how you play in the midnight hour. With a band in a bar, electric guitar, okay, different. Then you try to do exactly whatever Steve Cropper did, you know. I was playing electric in the, I assume I was playing a Telecaster, right? Because Steve Cropper is known for his Telecaster playing. So I'm sure if I made that video, I would have used a Telecaster. Okay, so thanks everybody. Thanks for letting me do that. It's fun. It's fun for me. Hopefully it's fun for you too. And okay, last thing before we move on to whatever topic is coming up, memorizing the sixth string. Instantly you have the first skinny E string memorized, right? Same thing, right? Same thing. If you were so inclined, you could play these tunes on the skinny string just to prove. Right? Same names, but you know that, right? So by memorizing the sixth string, you're actually taking care of 2 of the 6 strings of the guitar, right? Yeah, very cool. Okay, so you guys have stuck around for an hour. I'm going to take a minute and remind you, Christmas is coming, okay? Don't wait. It's September, my friends. Don't wait. For you, for today and tomorrow, you get 25% off. Sale ends tomorrow night, Monday morning. I forget when I said that, but this is when you start thinking about if you're interested in having some Christmas songs ready for Christmas. If that's not part of your December agenda, no, I get it. But if it might be, now is the time to think about it, and you get 25% off. So bear with me for a second. Should you be inclined, you just go to my website, the coupon code, ready? The coupon code, Santa 25, SANTA 25. Santa 25 gets you 25% off the book, which is $20. So you save. Help me, Dad. My mom and dad are watching. And Dad, I can do that math. I don't even have to say the number. 25% of $20, $5. Yeah. So save $5. Why not? Should you be so inclined, here's what you get. First of all, you don't get the paper copy. You get the electronic copy. The advantages of the electronic copy: you can blow up the pages on your screen, make them bigger so you can read them better, and you can print out one thing at a time, and you don't necessarily have to carry around the whole book. Okay. What you get: 31 songs. Okay, 31 Christmas songs, presented in 3 ways. I'll keep it quick. You get the melody. I'm holding this up. Okay, the holly and the ivy. The melody. How to pick out the simple melody in tab. Everything in the book is in tab, but the other music, the piano music, is there as well for those of you who are interested. Okay, so you have the melody of a tune. Why would you want the melody? Hey, some of you are beginners. I hope some of you are. I hope some of you just got the guitar yesterday, and that's your speed. Pick out the melody 1 string at a time. Excellent. The second reason the melody is important is because you also get the strumming. Okay, so for 31 songs, this is the other way you could play each of the 31 songs. Just the strumming, the strum pattern, and the chords. I kept the chords easy. I avoided F as much as possible. Holly and the Ivy has G, E minor, C, and D, right? Slap on a capo if you want to change the key. Okay, if you're doing Christmas caroling, or if you're the singer, that's the page for you, right? If you have a second friend to play music with, doesn't even have to be a guitar player, that person could play the melody. Remember, the melody is written out in both guitar tab and regular notes. A piano player could play that, or second guitar player, mandolin, whatever, while you play the chords, right? Okay. Or you could just strum the chords and sing along. Finally, especially for those of you looking for a little bit of a challenge, the chord melody arrangement. Okay, so combining chords and melodies, and a little more challenging, but extremely rewarding. Okay, so you get 31 songs presented in all 3 ways. All right, thank you for letting me do a little sales pitch. It's because I care. Because I know if I was getting ready for Christmas, I'd want to start getting ready right now, So, let's say 4, 8, I don't know how many weeks until Christmas, 10, 11 weeks. If you did 1 song a week between now and Christmas, you'd have a bunch of songs ready to go. So, okay, that's my sales tip. Sales pitch. Again, I'm putting my website in the chat, and I'll put that coupon code in the chat. Okay, there's the website. Coupon code Santa25. And you don't have to do it right now because the sale for you, the discount, the early bird discount is going to be through Sunday night. I think Sunday at midnight is when it runs out. Sunday at midnight Eastern time. So watch out. But I hope I'm so proud of that book, and it came out great. I really love it. It was a lot of work, but I thought it's such a cool approach because any one person can approach a song multiple ways, including as you improve your skills. You might say, okay, and now I'm ready to do this chord strumming version. Oh, and of course, there's a video. How could I forget the video? There's a video that accompanies the book. And that video, I think anybody can watch the video for free on my website. But the video is there. So that's what's going on. Okay, enough about me. Thanks for listening, everybody. I am looking for some questions. Hey, John. John is a beginner that's owned a guitar for 20 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Monster Mash. We'll get to Monster Mash. Yeah. I was working in the lab late one night. There's not enough Halloween songs. Oh, okay. You just remind me, because you remind me of Ghostbusters. I want to share something with you, my friends. I've made a bunch of videos, and, you've seen some of my videos on YouTube. Have you ever wondered what were my least popular videos? The videos that, relatively speaking, nobody watched? Let's do a deep dive into my YouTube fails. Songs that just were not appealing. And I have some theories as to why these are my least popular videos. And I made a playlist. So you can go to my YouTube channel, and in the playlist category, just look for, I think I called it my least popular videos. But don't go there yet, because I want to run the list past you. Okay, so feel free to get a drum roll going here. Drum roll for Jonathan's least popular. I made a list of 12, okay? And these are all famous songs. A couple of the videos I made are a little bit, I decided to stick with videos I've made on famous songs to keep, compare apples to apples. So the number one that I'm going to mention in a minute, that's the absolute least popular video. But let's start with number 12. Number 12 of my least popular videos, Manic Depression by Jimi Hendrix. And the many of these were very short videos, like 1 minute videos on like the main riff to the song. So I have a feeling that YouTube has no interest in promoting a video that short, because advertisers don't want to advertise on a 1 minute video for whatever reason. I don't know why not. So I have a feeling that the failure of this video to catch on, and many, many, many of these other ones in the top 12, it's because they're really short, and that just doesn't work for YouTube's algorithm. Okay, number 11, Brick House. Brick House was not a popular video. Number 10, Seven Nation Army. Fail. Also, these are all very, very short videos, all of these. You Can't Do That by the Beatles came in at number 9. 12, 11, 10, 9. You Can't Do That is a video that I probably shouldn't have bothered making, apparently. Number 8, shocker, because it's a great song and the video could not have been that bad. Breakdown by Tom Petty coming in at number 8. Again, these are very short videos, probably didn't work for YouTube's algorithms. Number 7, are we on number 7 here? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Number 7, Love Struck Baby from Steve Ray Vaughan, coming in at number 7 of my least popular YouTube videos. Now, number 6 was, now we're getting to videos. It wasn't because they were short. I made a 9-minute video on how to play Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. You did not watch. It's okay. Nobody watched, relatively speaking. I mean, these get a few thousand views, but that puts you at the bottom of the list. These are videos that have been up for years. Okay, where are we at? Next, an 8-minute video that I probably shouldn't have bothered with on Break On Through by The Doors. 8-minute video probably took me 2 hours to make, if not more. Oh well. At least it wasn't a 17-minute video on Long Time by the band Boston. Woo! Now, maybe that fail was due to the length. Taking a song that was not 17 minutes and turning it into a 17-minute instructional video. Thumbs down, said YouTube, said the YouTube viewership. No, they do not want it. Okay, now this is what jogged my memory when Stephen, when you mentioned a Halloween song called Monster Mash. What jogged my memory was a 4-minute video that couldn't have been that bad on Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, another video that just, oh well, people must have been scared by that video. Okay, so now we're down to the Ghostbusters was number 3. Did I miss some counting here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm down. Ghostbusters number 3. I apologize if I missed some numbers. Okay. Number 2, least popular video. And I'm proud of this one. I wouldn't change a darn thing about this one. I was making 1 video a day for about 400 days. Not joking. You guys have heard me talk about this. And I was getting squirrely. I was losing it. So I made a perfectly good video on the song Limelight by Rush. And maybe the problem was I demonstrated the song on a 4-string tenor banjo and an accordion and a toy piano. Personally, I think that would lead to be a more popular video. If I would have put that video on TikTok, I think I'd be famous. I'd be somebody. I might even be viral. But that turns out to be the number 2 least popular video. I think it's great. If you want to be mildly entertained, watch my YouTube video on how to play Limelight by Rush. And you'll see what I mean. 4-string tenor banjo, accordion, toy piano, and yes, I do work a guitar in there, but not as much as you'd think, considering it's a guitar video. Okay, and now this is going to be slightly anticlimactic after all that buildup. For whatever reason, my number 1 least popular video, I don't know, folks, Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana. I got nothing. It's a 3-minute video. I don't know. Maybe my heart wasn't in it because I'm not a huge Nirvana fan. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, there you have it. The top 12, bottom 12, least popular videos. Of those 12 videos, I'm sure each one took me at least an hour, if not a couple hours, including editing and all that stuff. So yeah, probably a couple of days of my life that just didn't work out. That's all right. But there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I try not to take myself too seriously. I encourage you to also not take me too seriously. How's that working out? Pretty good? Well, you're still here. 41 friends and neighbors. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so that's what's going to... Candy says, I'm going to watch all those now. Well, yeah. Interestingly, maybe this is all reverse psychology, and my numbers are going to go through the roof. But I did make a playlist called my least popular YouTube videos. So you can find all 12 of them in one spot on my YouTube channel. Knock yourself out. John says, thanks for the effort. Well, I appreciate that. Okay, so thanks. I'm hoping that someone has a great question to get us back on track here. Peter, hey, Peter Rocha says, thank you for teaching. Peter, you're very welcome. Jerry Stillwell, if you're talking about the Christmas book, Jerry, it is not a real paper book until you print it out. I just have my printed out demo copies. And I use it for teaching, to tell you the truth, especially as Christmas gets closer. I sit in a chair and I teach, and I've got a copying machine right there when I'm over in the teaching part of my complex here, my 500 square feet. So another reason why I printed this out was so right during someone's lesson, I can just bang, make a copy and send them home with a copy out of the book, which is what I do with all my books. It changed my teaching profoundly to have a lot of material right there, photocopy it, hand it to a student, rather than having to write it out for every student. Yeah. So Candy wants to know, do I know any Zeppelin riffs? I do. I'm going to hold off on playing any at the moment, because I want to see what else is out there. But thanks for the prompt. Okay, so I feel like, yes, Steven says Sweet Emotion is a, yeah, man, I don't know. On some of these, the thumbnail, that's the word I was looking for before, the thumbnail that is used to promote the video. On some of the thumbnails are pretty lame. I think in some cases I hadn't learned that I could swap out the thumbnail for anything else, but so I did not change the thumbnails of any of the least popular ones, but I probably will start doing that because it can't hurt. It takes me a second to do it. And it can't hurt, because apparently, something is not working about these videos. The very short videos, I think it's an algorithm thing. I think YouTube just doesn't like short videos. And so a lot of those 12 were very, very short ones, because I had this idea to do a riff a day. And when I say riff, I meant like a riff, like a short thing. There's, Day Tripper by the Beatles, bang. And, the whole video was a minute, or, give or take. But interestingly, I have plenty of short videos that did not make that list. So it isn't just, I'm starting to take it personally now. It isn't just how short the video is. People just didn't like the video. Maybe that's all right. I'm tough. Time Surfing Alien. Hey, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for the kind words. Hey, Stephen, I don't know what Misty Mountain, the Led Zeppelin song. Gotcha. I know what you're talking about. Wayne is asking, is the bike name inspired from Syd Barrett's song? Nope. I know who Syd Barrett is, but nope. Song Bike. I chose that name because I like songs. I like bikes. Susan says, is there a capo class? I'm having difficulty figuring out how the chords change up the neck with the application of a capo. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. That's our own A to Z. Mia's seconding my opinion. That's a great question. So yeah, let's talk about that. Hey, Bob Human, thank you, Bob. I got your, as you know, I got your email, Bob, and as you know, I replied. And Bob brought up excellent, legendary, important performer Richie Havens, and Bob was asking me about, playing in Richie Havens' style, and learning what you can from Richie Havens' type of playing, and playing songs, if not exactly the way Richie Havens played it, then as close as possible. And I just have not gone to school in Richie Havens. I know he tuned the guitar differently than the conventional tuning, and had that big old thumb reaching over and fretting the sixth string. So I hope that someone out there, one of those crazy YouTubers, just did a deep dive on Richie Havens' style and presented that. But I'm just not the guy to do it, And Bob, you connected with me over manic depression, is that right? Because you might have been one of the only people to watch that. And if you watched it more than once, then I probably owe you, a little money. Okay, Susan, I won't forget about your question about the capo. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I'll get there, Susan. Thank you. Okay. By the way, everybody, we got about half an hour left. I always have this illusion that we'll wrap up at the 2-hour point, and it almost never has happened, but we'll see. Again, a little vitamin water to the rescue. Okay. While I'm teaching this capo thing, I had a fun idea. Here's my fun idea. My fun idea is a new feature of our show. You ready? The new feature is ask me a dumb question. Yes, ask me a dumb question. This is your time. If you've had some questions and you've been like, it's a dumb question, now's the time. And before I get to Susan's capo thing, I'll start. Here's a dumb question. Why does a guitar have 6 strings? Why? I mean, maybe it's not a dumb question, but like, why does it have 6 strings? You know, I mean, why anything? Why are the strings tuned the way they are? Why is the neck this long? You know, why? So I have a theory, and so I'm going to answer my own dumb question with this theory. It has to do with the anatomy of the human hand. The shape of the neck relates to what's comfortable in an adult hand in general. Of course, the length of the neck has to do with the length of let's call it an average adult arm, give or take, you know. So the design of the neck of the instrument is related to anatomy. And then 6 strings, well, maybe 7 strings, things, you know, if the dimensions of the neck, the dimensions, you know, this way from side to side, not the length of the neck, but the way the neck feels in the palm of your hand. If that's limited by the anatomy of the human hand, then we can only deal with so many strings when the fretboard is a certain width, because our human fingers can't get in there too well. The average human adult finger can't get in there too well if there are 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 strings, right? Don't forget, a 12-string guitar doesn't have 12 equally spaced strings, right? They're in what they call courses, 2 strings that are extremely close to each other, right? So why 6 strings? Because 7 is too much. Yes, I know 7-string guitars exist. I know, I get it, but bear with me. I asked a dumb question. I'm going to give it a dumb answer, you know? So, and 5 strings, sure, you could have 5 strings on a guitar. You could, but someone decided, yeah, but we can get 6 in. We can make it work. You know, with enough practice, all those dummies out there they'll practice enough, and they'll find a way to deal with the tight string spacing of 6 strings. But sure, imagine if the guitar was only 5 strings. Everything would be spread apart a little bit more. The chords potentially could get a little bit easier because you'd be less likely to dampen out a string by mistake with the flesh of your fingers, you know? So, okay, so that was my dumb question. The dumb question is, why do we only have 6 strings? Why is the neck the size and shape that it is? Kind of a couple of dumb questions. And so there's my answer. So I'm going to go on to the capo question right now, but I'd like to see someone just say, you know what, I'm going to ask a dumb question, since that is the moment right now. And so I'm going to talk about capos in a second or right now, but then I'd like to see a dumb question in the chat, man. Give me a dumb question. You guys ask good questions. Okay, so I have all these weeks now, I've kept a capo right here within arm's reach of our live stream, because I thought, yeah, you never know, you know, you might need it. I also have a bag of pretzels handy for the same reason. But Susan did not ask about the pretzels, she asked about the capo. Okay, so Susan, I'm going to reread your question real quick here, because I want to answer it as you asked. And where you go, Susan? I'm getting there. Bear with me. Okay. Susan says, I'm having difficulty figuring out how the chords change up the neck with the application of the capo. Okay. It all goes back to those 12 notes. When all is said and done, by the time I finish answering this question, what you're going to come away with is, yeah, you got to have the 12 notes, the order of the 12 notes memorized. And it's easy to memorize them if you remember two things: the exceptions, right? How B and C have nothing in between, and E and F, everlasting friends, also have nothing in between. Best chums, right? B and C, E and F have nothing in between. All the other alphabet letters have that in-between note, which for the moment right now, I'm going to call it sharp, like A sharp, or F sharp, G sharp, okay? All right, so you got to have that memorized. You have to know there are 12 notes in music, 7 of them with alphabetical names like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 5 of them have that other name, A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Okay. Every fret on the guitar represents the next note, a half step. It represents the same distance. Every fret is the same distance as the distance from A to A sharp, or as a distance from C sharp to D. Okay, every fret is a half step. Every time you move through those 12 notes of music, they're half steps. I'll never forget, I was teaching somebody who was a piano player first and then came over to the guitar world. And they were so surprised that every fret on the guitar was a half step. I thought, well, what did they think it was, man? They're just, I don't know. I thought, weird. Okay, so my capo is now at the first fret. I'm playing what looks like a G chord. My left hand thinks it is a G chord, but the capo has changed everything. The capo is at the first fret. That means what feels like a G chord and sounds perfectly good is not a G chord, not to the listener, right? The capo is at the first fret. I just took what was a G chord. I moved up a half step. What's a half step from G? G to G sharp. So what looks like a G chord is a G sharp chord. Okay, why is that significant? Here's one situation where it becomes significant when you're playing with other musicians and they want to know the names of what you're doing. What's the song? How do you know what are the chords for the song? And you have to acknowledge the existence of the capo if you're using a capo and you want them to play along with you, right? So I'm going to finish answering this question by doing the G chord up the neck. Okay, every time we move the capo up, what felt like a G chord, which still feels like a G chord, the name is going to change. Okay, so you ready? And if you want to write this down, it's not a crazy idea. Okay. A G major chord with a capo at the first fret the listener hears a G sharp chord. So I'm going to say capo at 1, G sharp. Get it? Okay. Capo at 2, A. What was it? What you think your left hand thinks you're playing a G chord, but the listener is hearing A. Capo at 2, A. Capo at 3, A sharp. Capo at 4, B. You with me? Capo at 5, C. Capo at 6, C sharp. Capo at 7, D. And I'm going to call it because I've never come across a song off the top of my head where the capo is higher than the 7th fret. I'm sure it exists. You might write a song with a capo at the 8th fret, but let's pause at the 7th fret just because you got to stop somewhere. By the way, speaking of songs with the capo at the 7th fret, if you're going to play good old Here Comes the Sun, I know I've played this before, you got to put a capo on the 7th fret because that's how you get that nice George Harrison sunshiny sound. Right? That's how the song goes. It's a shame to play Here Comes the Sun with a capo, without the capo. It's such a great riff. Okay, so Susan, I hope that helps. Okay, I am not done with you guys yet because last live stream, some smart person asked me about hybrid picking, and I wasn't loving my answer about hybrid picking. I think I gave perfectly okay little exercise, and I thought, you know what, let's do something. And this is a great segue. George Harrison from the Beatles, and this is going to be a Beatles riff. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick, perfectly good exercise for those of you who are curious about hybrid picking and those of you who are familiar with Beatles songs. Okay, the reason I chose 8 days a week is because at the heart of 8 days a week is a chord progression that goes D, E, G, and then back to D again. Ooh, I need your love, babe. Guess you know. Hope you know it's true. Okay, D, E, G, back to D again. And I'm kind of fudging it here, but just to get the tune in your head, 8 days a week has that great riff that's basically like. Okay, so what did I do just there? At the heart of it was taking a regular D chord, strumming it. For the E chord, I just moved the D grip, the D formation up 2 frets. I'm now at 4, 5, and 4. Slightly out of tune. Full disclosure, I hear that. I do. It's an E major chord. Okay, an E major chord, 4, 5, 4. Beatles wrote a song that goes from D to E. Hey, why not do this D up to this E, right? Why not, right? Third chord of the song, a G chord. I'm going to take my D formation, glide it up, 7th fret, 7, 8, 7. When I say 7th fret, 2 of my fingers are on the 7th fret. My other finger, my ring finger, is on the 8th fret. Okay, that's my G chord right there. Okay, we'll get to the hybrid picking in 1 second, and then the whole thing goes back to the D major chord. So we got, starting on the D, ooh, I need your love, babe. Oh, guess you know it's true. It starts again. I hope you need my love, babe, just like I need you. Okay, so, okay, here comes the hybrid picking. Ooh, I need your love, babe. You know it's true. Okay, I'm choosing this because it's focusing on the 3 strings, and I can do a nice little hybrid pattern. Okay, so what's the right hand pattern? Reminder, hybrid picking means you use your pick, but you also use some other bare finger. In this case, I'm using my middle and my ring fingers on my picking hand. I'm going to stay on the D chord because what I just did was the same picking on every one of the chords. So I'm going to stay on the conventional normal D chord here. Okay, so the pattern is 3rd skinny string, plucking down with a pick. 2nd string, plucking up with my middle finger. 1st string, plucking up with my ring finger. I'm going to repeat that pattern a 2nd time. And I'm going to end on just the open 3rd string. Sorry, not the open 3rd string. I'm going to end on the 3rd string with my pick. So slowly, pick, middle, ring, pick again, middle again, ring again, back to the pick. I'm going to turn at an angle here, slowly. You may be feeling the flesh of your middle and ring fingers kind of slow you down a little bit. Yeah. In a perfect world, you do it so much you develop a little callus, or you grow out your fingernails a little bit. But here it is 2 frets higher with my left hand. Same pattern. 3 frets higher. Back to the... Okay, so I just want to throw that your way. Like I said, I wasn't loving my what I did last week. I thought I'd give you another example. So 8 days a week as a hybrid picking exercise. And that's simply one example of hybrid picking. But there you go, nice little right hand pattern. Okay, that was on my mind. Thank you for letting me process that. I'm looking back at the chat, man, because I am curious about what is going on in your minds. Oh, Wayne, that was the 2nd song. All right, Wayne, that was the 2nd song you learned when you were 13 years old. Jack Cheshire. Hey, Jack. Jack is asking, what is the name of my YouTube channel? It's where you are right now, Jack. You're at my YouTube channel right here. But hey, you might not have made a note of how you got here. Okay, so in the chat, I'm going to, didn't I just a minute ago ask for your dumb questions? And here I am right away saying I'm answering it so rudely. I apologize. Although you might not have meant that to be a dumb question, but okay, I'm giving you a dumb answer. J Kehew 1. That if you're you're on YouTube, like, I want to head over to that guy's channel. What's his deal? What's his name again? If you type that in, it's my first initial, my last name, and the number 1, Jkehew, and the number 1, the digit 1. If you type that into YouTube, you'll get right to my channel. And secondly, I'm 99% sure if you type all one word, Songbike, if you do a search for that in YouTube, Songbike, Songbike, all one word, I believe that should get you to my channel right away as well. Okay, so were there some dumb questions? I want to hear a dumb question. Okay, Marley-Bon, that's a dumb question. Thank you. That's a great dumb question. Why are there 2 E strings? Yeah. Why? To my knowledge, the best guess anyone has is that the guitar has Spanish roots, and the flamenco music found in Spain lends itself to this tuning, or this tuning helps flamenco guitarists do what they do, and that's the best guess I've heard. And if there is some definitive answer, I do not know it, but that's the best guess I've heard because, yeah. So Marley-Bon, thank you for that question. Steve Mannion asked a perfectly dumb question. Why does a bass have only 4 strings? Yeah, I mean, we all know, yes, there are basses out there with 5 strings. I'm sure there's basses, whatever, but yeah, 4 strings. I mean, is it, again, I'm going to come down to the fact that the bass strings are so fat, they have to be, so they can't make the neck any wider on a bass because of the anatomy of a human hand. The average, right? I keep saying average, you know what I mean, right? The average human being can deal with a guitar neck, can deal with a bass neck, but they don't want something wider unless there's a pressing reason to have a wider neck, like adding on extra strings, a 5-string bass, a 6-string bass. So if the curvature dimensions of the neck can only realistically be so big to create a commercially viable product that the average person would want, then maybe you can only fit 4 fat bass strings. If you put on a 5th fat bass string, either the strings would be so close together to make the instrument super frustrating, or you'd have to make the whole neck and fretboard bigger and wider, and it would be less appealing, Okay, beginner guitar questions. I think it's a dumb question. What is better, 2 full octaves or 1 and 5 eighths? I can't read that. It is a dumb question, man. I don't know. Jerry Stillwell. Jerry, you're not asking a dumb question. You're asking about my pedal board. I don't have a pedal board. I have a few pedals that I like. But someday, I look forward to having a cool pedal board with, hand-picked effects. But today's not that day. But yeah, someday I will. I'd love to. John Salem has a dumb question. Yep. When people talk about going up the neck and down the neck, to my knowledge, guitar professionals refer to playing up the neck as the fret numbers get higher, right? The 12th fret. If you're at the 3rd fret, you go up to the 12th fret. If you're at the 12th fret, you go down to the 3rd fret. So down is going towards the smaller fret numbers, and up is going to the higher fret numbers. Yeah, I don't know. And don't get me started on top string. When someone says top string, I don't really listen to what is next is coming out of their mouth, because I know no matter what they're saying, I have to clarify by what do you mean by top string? Like, because these terms get thrown around a little bit, and I don't, or I just watch their hands. If they say, yeah, on the top string, I watch to see, okay, what are they plucking? Because that's what they think the top string is. But and that's a little bit, I don't know, the up and down the neck, though, that to me, that is the verdict is in on that topic. Up the neck, every guitar professional I've talked to, when they say up the neck, they mean going in the direction of the sound hole. That's going up the neck. But I see what it's a great dumb question. I love it. Oh, this is fun, you guys. I like you've been holding out on me, man. Let's keep these dumb questions coming. Yeah, Scott Rhodes asked a good dumb question. A tenor guitar, which some of you know is a 4-string, somewhat smaller guitar. Why does a tenor guitar have 4 strings? Why is it not an oversized ukulele? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is such a thing called a baritone ukulele, which is, by the way, a baritone ukulele is an awesome idea if someone in your life is like 5, 6, 7 years old and they want to play guitar. Get them a baritone ukulele. A baritone ukulele is tuned like the 4 skinny strings of our guitars, okay? E, B, G, D, starting on the skinny string. Easter bunnies go dancing. That's a baritone ukulele. 4 strings, typically nylon strings, so softer on those young fingers. The whole instrument is significantly smaller. For those of you who want an instrument that you can throw in the back of your car, take to the beach, get a baritone ukulele. Why not, man? Yes, it's only 4 strings, but it's literally the 4 notes of a guitar. And so you can sit there and practice your baritone ukulele, and you'd be practicing the same as you'd be doing on your 4 skinny strings. Okay, so yeah, there are a lot of instruments that begin to overlap a little bit, and instruments that sort of are almost extinct now. I'm sure somewhere out there you can find a guitar maker making new tenor guitars, but the tenor guitar just didn't survive rock and roll very well. Or do they exist? I mean, in some form, oh sure, yeah. Yeah, it's a good dumb question. I don't have any great insight to add to that, but it's a great question. Wayne, yeah, you bring up an interesting point. I don't have a great answer for you. Wayne says, why do some guitar players say Jimi Hendrix could be a little bit sloppy when he played? Yeah, I don't know. I don't doubt that if you've heard that, I have no reason to doubt that. But I don't know. I love it when guitar players say good things about other guitar players. I love that so much, because often it's insightful stuff. When guitar players say anything less than that, I don't know. I tune out. It's like when a plumber comes to your house and they look at your issue and they start telling you about what a bad job the previous plumber did. I don't know. It spoils the mood. So yeah, I don't know. I have not gone to school on Jimi Hendrix. Certainly not the way where some people do. Some people who that's why they play the guitar, right? Plenty of people. So yeah, I don't know. I'm reading your things. Scott Rhodes, again, an interesting point. And up and down related to pitch. That's one way to put it. As you go up the neck of the guitar, the sound goes higher and higher. So yeah, let's go with that. Why not? Sure. Candy says, why is there such a shortage of bass players? Yeah. I know I kind of addressed this a while back. It's because it's a more demanding instrument physically. And so it scares some people off. It can be a heavier instrument. Typically, it's a heavier instrument, fatter strings, longer neck. And it's a social instrument. I'm going to say something provocative here. There's no point in being a solo bass player. Bass players exist to be in a band. Okay, don't yell at me. I said, you know what I'm saying, though? It's a social instrument. I'll say the same thing about drummers. You're going to go to a Italian restaurant and hope that you're there on the night there's a drummer in the corner playing all night? No, you hope there's guitar player, piano player, something else, right? These are social instruments that are they're ensemble instruments. So there's always going to be a huge demand for an instrument that sounds complete in and of itself, which is guitar and piano. And the accordion, but this is a guitar channel. It's not an accordion channel yet. Woo-hoo. But yeah. So it's actually a perfectly good question, but thanks for calling it a dumb question. But that's the beginnings of my answer. Songwriters need chords. So songwriters write songs on chordal instruments, guitar and piano. Not that a bass player can't write a song, but in general, if you're inclined to write songs, you grab an instrument that produces chords, because chords support the melody, they support your singing. It brings me to a bass player joke. I'm going to give credit to Phil McKnight from the Know Your Gear podcast. Phil McKnight told this joke. Why did the bass player not show up to their second bass lesson? And the reason why the bass player did not show up for their second bass lesson was because they're on their way to their first gig. Get it? Right? Yeah, because the world needs bass players, man. One lesson. Okay. Good to go. Okay. Scrolling a little bit. Bob, I want to thank you for your super chat. I really appreciate that. Hey, look at that. Everyone take a look at your screen. Do you see what I see? 39 viewers and 39 thumbs up. I don't know if you guys see that. Do you guys see that? I guess you might. But if you don't, this is it. We have achieved 38. Oh, come on. So, what? You can't leave right when I say that. We have 38 viewers and 40 likes. So I like the numbers, but that's funny. Okay. Now is the time for me to take a breath. We're not done yet. We got a few minutes, but I want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. I look forward to these live streams so much. And I'm already looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to next week partly because I banged out a bunch of things on my agenda, but I have more. And I'm sure during the week, my little brain doesn't turn off the way it should. I should get a hobby. I've heard about hobbies. Are they fun? So during the week, it's a combination of maybe think about things that you guys brought up, think about things that my group of in-person students or online students have mentioned. I don't know. I've been on the job too long. So I get ideas for what I want to share with you. And if I don't get to everything, then there's those ideas, and then I think of more for the next one, and life is good. Okay, but thank you for your super chats. If you're having a good time, let the world know. You're welcome to contribute to the cause here. There's that super chat dollar bill looking thing down at the bottom of the chat. Click on that, and you can contribute to the cause, and I thank you in advance. Don't forget, hey, man, instead of just super chat, which I thank you for, and I encourage you to do that, get yourself a copy of this book. 25% off, okay? www.song-bike.com. There's the address right there's the website. Go there, get yourself a copy of the book. It's an electronic book. You won't get this in the mail. It'll come almost immediately to your email inbox, but save 25% by using the coupon code SANTA25. SANTA25. Why am I pushing the Christmas book? Because it's time, man. You don't want to wait till November to start getting your Christmas songs together. Do it now. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. So that's what's going on. You guys talking about my shirt? Thanks. I dig it. We know what I am going to wear one of these days. I made a video called the DCG trick. That's my one-hit wonder video. Significantly, I think it's 12 million views. I forget. And I was wearing the ugliest shirt in that video. Yeah, it was uglier than this. Yeah, it was. It was orange. And in honor of that video success, I have that shirt. And I have only worn it once. since I think since I made that video. I certainly have only worn it once in the last 10 years. And it was when I did the unboxing video of my YouTube play button, when I got my YouTube play button for passing 100,000 subscribers. I made a little unboxing video because that's what all the kids do nowadays. And I wore that shirt. Dude, that shirt has 11 million views, 12 million views. And so I got it. So I'll wear that shirt again. We'll celebrate something, I'm sure. And I will wear that shirt. And I wouldn't even have to say anything. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's the one. That's the orange shirt. Keep in mind, in my defense, if I could even propose a defense, my wife and I filmed those initial videos, including the very popular DCG trick video, for public access TV. And nobody watches public access TV, and my shirt just did not seem to matter. And yeah, little did I know. Hey, my shirt was not the only bad thing about that video. Neither my hair, the whole thing was a hot mess. The content was great. But I sure wish I could go back and look different. Oh well, too late. Okay. Everybody let me know if I've missed one of your questions. Joseph Galasso, hello. He's keeping track of the likes. I appreciate that. The thumbs up. I appreciate that, Joseph. And I see a super chat. How come I can't get over this? Okay. Someone, who's this? Beginning guitar lessons, of course. Threw $5 my way, which I totally appreciate. And he's suggesting that I should wear that orange shirt when I hit 200,000 subscribers. That sounds like a great idea. And bear with me, folks. I'm at, am I getting closer to 199? Okay, where am I at here? Audience. You'd think I'd be able to come up with these details quickly. Lifetime. 198,100. Does that sound right? All right. So yeah. So for sure. Dude, when I pass 200,000 subscribers, we'll have coffee and cookies. Man, we'll have a shot and a beer. We'll do something. A shot and a beer and coffee and cookies, and then some Tums. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay. If I haven't missed any questions, maybe we'll just call it right there. I'll check for the questions one more time. But I have a bunch of other things on my agenda, but I don't want to cram them into the last few minutes here. You guys have been super patient with me, and I really appreciate all the stuff you've been throwing my way in terms of questions and everything else. Here's something that I find frustrating. I don't have time to read all your chats. During the week, I timestamp the live stream here, so that you can skip over lots of stuff and get right to what you want to see. And I barely have time to do that, and I like doing that, but I miss out. My intention is to go back and read all these chats, and I can't keep up with that part. So if I don't acknowledge some awesome thing that you said in the chat, a bass joke, words of wisdom, anything, I apologize. Like, geez, man, I offered the guy, $500 to mow my lawn. He didn't even acknowledge it in the chat. I just can't keep up. I'll try to figure out a way to do that. But yeah, I just don't. At the moment, I can't find a way to keep up. Okay. Any more questions? Now is the time, man. Don't be shy. It can be a dumb question. It doesn't have to be a dumb question. Hey, Mark G. Mark G says, I followed you when I bought my first guitar in 2015. Nice, man. And you got me hooked on guitar. I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And here you still are, and here I still am. We both survived a global pandemic. Here's a question, Mark. Do you still have only one guitar? Because I wouldn't be surprised if you got a second one. The majority of my students end up getting a second guitar of the opposite type. If they start an acoustic guitar, sooner or later they get an electric, and vice versa. It could be a year or two or more into their journey on the guitar, but it's extremely common because number one, it's fun. Number two, they're beautiful instruments that aren't particularly expensive, and so that's why I'm asking Mark. I'm curious, Mark, if you own more guitars at the time now that you've played for 8 years. Okay, so I know we all probably should move on with our Saturday nights, possibly Sunday for some of you guys. So let's call it right there. There are 37 of you. Beautiful. Love it. Tell a friend. Okay, let's get these numbers up. I have this personal goal of 100 simultaneous viewers live on a Saturday. I would love that. And we know we're getting there little by little, but I would love that. So please feel free to tell a friend. And Mark says, yeah, yes, I knew it, man. Mark has, yes, indeed, has 3 Les Paul knockoffs and a Gibson Jr., as well as 2 acoustics. Yeah, that sounds about right, man. Thank you for helping the economy. Thank you for helping the guitar industry. And that's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. I see Scott Rhodes, 12 guitars. Joseph Galasso, 13 guitars. Hey, McDougs, I usually start at 5 p.m. Eastern. I always start 5 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays and go until right about now, 7 p.m., about 2 hours. One last thing I don't want to forget. Please follow me on social media for lots of reasons, including that is where I would give you guys a heads up if for some reason the live stream is not going to happen on a given week, or if it's going to happen, but maybe only for an hour. It's possible that sometime I might start earlier, maybe because it fits my schedule better on that one particular Saturday, but also because for some of you, you could watch more if it were an hour earlier. So I don't know, it's possible. Anyways, Instagram or Facebook, just do a search for the phrase Songbike, 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 and follow me, whatever you do on these things. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and that's how you'll be in the loop. And plus, I like to think I put some pretty fun things out there. Oh, I just met with a very cool guitar maker who makes such cool guitars. Longtime live stream viewers, listeners will be aware that there's a cool guitar company I like a lot called Healy Guitars, Healy, out of Massachusetts. And Trevor Healy came through my neck of the woods in Connecticut playing with his band. And I was like, oh man, Trevor, I'm going to, I'd never met him before. We had just, communicated online. I said, Trevor, I'm going to come see your band. I can meet you, And yeah, his band called Slant of Light. He was playing a guitar he had made for himself, and that was fun to see, man. Like I'd never have sat with a guy and played a guitar that he'd made himself. Very cool, very cool. And so we talked about, oh man, we talked about his job, basically, dealing with kooky customers like us and like me, who want him to build custom guitars, and so it's very fun. So anyways, Healy Guitars, Healy, out of Massachusetts. Head over to their website, Healy Guitars. I think it's just healyguitars.com. And just check out some of the beautiful stuff he does. There are lots of very interesting, beautiful instruments being made all over the place. And his instruments just caught my eye because I like the artistry behind them. And it doesn't hurt that he's maybe 90 minutes from my house. That's pretty cool. Maybe not even 90 minutes. But anyways, it's nice to be able to head out and see someone that's relatively close, as opposed to a beautiful instrument that's way out, maybe on another coast, and you don't really know what it feels like. So yeah. Anyways, that's my update about shopping. Some of you may remember that I had every intention of buying myself a sweet guitar to celebrate 30 years of being a guitar teacher, and it didn't work out. the Fender Musical Instrument Corporation decided that they weren't going to build the guitar I wanted. They were going to build something that was close and see if I would like suck it up and pay for it anyways. And do you see a Fender guitar? No. So anyways, so it's fun. It's fun shopping around again and doing business with a real human being who has every intention of working with me and making a cool guitar together. I mean, he does all the work, but anyways. Okay, so I'm trying hard to say goodnight. Joseph Galasso, did you say Jagger guitars? I don't know that. Jagger guitars. I don't know. For next time. And Jagger guitars. I don't know. Zelinski guitars. Jerry, no, I'll check these out. My wife will confirm that my idea of watching television is like going like this on my phone and looking up if I hear, a character getting murdered or a car chase, right? The universal symbol for shopping for guitars. See what I'm doing right there? For those of you who might be listening to this, I'm mimicking scrolling through my phone, scrolling through the phone. Okay, you guys, I will. Yeah, my wife says confirmed. That's what he does. Confirmed. Yeah. Beginner Guitars is offering to buy me a Les Paul. Man, the necks. I don't know. I never got into the necks of Les Paul. Okay, you guys, but thank you for the offer, man. Hey, never say never. Who knows? Everybody, thank you. I will see you guys next Saturday. Keep those dumb questions coming. I think those dumb questions were just about as stimulating as all the other questions. Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Thank you to everybody who made a super chat. If I didn't thank you, I hope I thanked everyone who did that. But thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. See you guys next Saturday. I hope you have some time off. Hopefully tomorrow, Sunday, where you can play the guitar, enjoy at least one of your stringed instruments if you own 12 or 13 of them. Don't forget, please do follow me on social media. Please take advantage of the sale price on my Christmas book. Keep your eyes open for that Proud Mary video, hopefully coming out very soon in the next few days. And don't forget, this whole thing is being recorded. This whole live stream will be a video available for you to watch very, very soon. And I will be time stamping it in the next few days. I thank you, everybody. I'm going to wish you good night. I will see you next Saturday. All right, everybody, take care.